The night sky was an ink-black canvas, scattered with stars barely visible through the stormy haze. Below, jagged mountain ridges rose like the spine of some buried monster, stretching across the horizon. The wind howled through the cargo bay of the C-130 transport plane as Staff Sergeant Logan Hayes double-checked his gear, heart thudding beneath layers of Kevlar and adrenaline. To his right, his military working dog, Raptor, sat perfectly still, strapped into a jump harness, ears perked and amber eyes locked on his handler. A 90-pound German Shepherd trained for special operations, Raptor had leapt into darkness more times than most men in the unit. This was routine for him, but tonight, something felt different. Logan ran a gloved hand down the thick ruff of fur behind Raptor's neck. "You good, boy?" Raptor gave a low grunt, a subtle wag of his tail. Lieutenant Captain Cole moved down the line of paratroopers, his voice curt in the headset. "ETA 60 seconds. Radio silent after touchdown. Rendezvous at Grid 6 Alpha. Remember, this is recon. Observe, confirm, extract. No hero moves." Logan gave a nod. "Copy that." The green light above the ramp flickered to life, casting an eerie glow over the team. One by one they stepped forward. Logan pulled down his night vision, goggles, and adjusted Raptor's harness. The dog gave no sign of discomfort, already anticipating what was to come. "Let's do this," Logan murmured. The wind hit like a freight train as they leapt into the void. Free fall lasted seconds. The chute snapped open with a jolt, yanking Logan skyward. The wind screamed in his ears. Below, the jagged forest canopy loomed. He kept his arms tight, feet together. Raptor was suspended beneath him in his own custom harness, legs curled inward, completely calm. They touched down hard on a slope, skis of rock and root beneath them. Logan rolled, unclipped his chute, and checked Raptor first. The dog was all ready. On his paws, ears forward, sniffing the air. "All clear?" Logan whispered. Raptor gave a short, low woof, the signal for no immediate danger. Logan activated his locator beacon. The others should be dropping close behind. Over the next minute, parachutes bloomed across the sky. Shapes descended, scattered, in a pattern. Logan counted 7, then 8. Captain Cole's voice crackled in his earpiece. "Alpha team, sound off." A round of brief check-ins followed, voices calm, clipped, professional. The kind of composure bred through years of sand, blood, and fire. "Hayes and Raptor, on the ground and moving," Logan said. "Copy. Regroup at marker Alpha 5. Logan gave Raptor a hand signal, and the dog moved into a low, silent trot, ears swiveling. They weaved through thick undergrowth, climbing over roots and ducking under broken branches. Raptor's nose twitched every few seconds. They were close. 10 minutes passed before Logan reached the rendezvous point, a rocky outcrop overlooking a steep gulch. Captain Cole and the rest of the team were already fanned out in a tight perimeter. Logan knelt beside Raptor, scanning the dark tree line. "What's our sitrep?" Cole crouched beside him, pointing to a crumpled map. "Enemy convoy is supposed to pass through the eastern road in an hour. Our job is to confirm vehicle IDs, take photos, and stay ghosted. Exfil at 0300. "Simple enough." Cole gave him a wry look. "It's never simple." They split into fire teams, moving like shadows through the forest. Logan and Raptor stayed to the rear flank. Every step was measured, every leaf avoided. But Raptor began to slow. His nose swept left to right. A low growl started in his chest. Logan froze. "What is it, boy?" Raptor's hackles rose. His body stiffened like a coiled spring. Then Logan saw it, a glint of metal, wires. Tripwire. Trap. Logan hissed, spinning around. Too late. The forest erupted with fire. Bullets tore through the underbrush. The night filled with muzzle flashes, screams, chaos. Logan hit the dirt and yanked Raptor down with him, heart racing. "Ambush! All teams! Break! Break!" Cole's voice cut off in a burst of static. Logan pulled his rifle tight and crawled behind a fallen tree. Shadows darted between the trees. Automatic fire hissed past his ear. He returned fire, controlled bursts, hitting two shapes before ducking back. "Raptor, stay!" The dog pressed flat against the ground, waiting for the next signal. Over the comms, voices shouted, then silenced. Explosions rocked the ground. Something slammed into Logan's side, sharp and hot. He rolled, gasping, clutching his ribs. His armor held, but the pain was instant. He grabbed Raptor's harness and scrambled to his feet. "We're outnumbered," he muttered. "We have to move." Using the smoke as cover, Logan and Raptor bolted through the underbrush. Shouts chased after them in a foreign tongue. More gunfire. Logan didn't stop until his legs burned and his lungs begged for air. Finally, they reached a rocky ledge and ducked behind it. He pressed a hand to his comm unit. "Command, this is Hayes. Team ambushed. Unknown casualties. Coordinates transmitting. Need immediate evac, static, then silence." The signal was jammed. He waited in the dark, heart pounding. Raptor pressed close beside him, panting quietly. The forest was deathly still now. No more gunfire, no more team. Logan tried again. "Cole? Bravo team? Anyone?" Nothing. Raptor let out a low whine and nudged Logan's side. The soldier turned and looked into those deep amber eyes. They mirrored his own exhaustion, his own fear. "We're alone," he said aloud, the words tasting like ash. "They're all gone." Raptor leaned into him, steady, alive. Logan drew a long breath. He'd been trained for survival behind enemy lines. He'd taught others how to do it. But nothing prepares you for the silence left after your brothers are gone. He reached down, pulled out his field knife, and slashed off a strip of his shirt. Tied it around Raptor's front left leg. The dog's tracker tag had been disabled. "Just as now, buddy." He reached into his gear, pulled out a compass and a folded map. They dropped into Zone D9. The nearest safe house was 25 kilometers southwest, across enemy territory, mountains, rivers, and open patrol zones. He sighed. "Let's go dark." He scraped dirt over his beacon and buried it under rocks. A false trail. Then he stood. Raptor rose beside him. Together, they vanished into the night. The forest was vast, silent, and unforgiving. The moon hung low, veiled behind drifting clouds that made the world below flicker in and out of silver light. Logan moved with practiced precision, feet avoiding twigs, eyes scanning every shadow. Raptor stayed glued to his side, moving like a ghost, nose constantly testing the air. They'd been walking for hours. Every muscle in Logan's body ached. The adrenaline from the ambush had long since faded, leaving behind a hollow pit in his stomach. He kept his rifle close, and his thoughts closer. The map had marked a supply shack, an old resistance safe house somewhere within these woods. If they could reach it, they'd have food, medical supplies, and most importantly, a radio. But the trail was long, and the enemy knew they were out here. Raptor paused ahead of him, ears swiveling. A soft woof escaped his throat. Logan crouched instantly, raising his fist in a halt signal. He heard it too. Faint crunching. Footsteps. 2 sets, maybe 3. Not hurried, not stealthy, confident. That meant patrols. He dropped prone, motioned for Raptor to stay, and belly crawled toward a ridge in the terrain. Peeking over the edge, he spotted them. 3 soldiers moving in a loose triangle formation, rifles up, scanning the area. Flashlights bobbed with each step. Not locals. Foreign gear. Mercenaries. Logan's jaw clenched. He stayed perfectly still, barely breathing until the footsteps receded. When they were gone, he tapped Raptor's flank. "Let's keep moving." By dawn, Logan's legs were giving out. His wounded ribs throbbed with each breath, but he didn't slow. The higher they climbed, the thinner the air, the colder the wind. Birds chirped lazily in the treetops, too relaxed. They weren't near a base or camp. That was good. They stopped near a creek that sliced through the forest floor like a silver ribbon. Logan knelt and refilled his canteen. Raptor dipped his muzzle into the stream and drank, ears perked the entire time. As Logan splashed water on his face, he noticed a streak of blood on his shirt, his side. He lifted his shirt to examine the bruise, a nasty welt across his ribs from the round that struck his armor during the ambush. Not broken, but tender. "I've had worse," he muttered, then glanced at Raptor. "Remember Morocco? You tackled a guy off a roof, thought we both were dead." Raptor gave a brief wag of his tail, then looked uphill. Logan followed his gaze. Smoke, faint but visible, now rising behind a stand of pine trees. He rose slowly, scanning through binoculars. No sound, no visible movement. It was risky, but it could be shelter or bait. He gave Raptor a hand signal. "Scout ahead." The dog broke into a silent jog, his body hugging the terrain, disappearing into the trees. Logan followed at a distance, slower, scanning for traps, tripwires, pressure plates, anything out of place. The shack came into view 5 minutes later. Old, weathered, half sunk into the hillside, camouflaged by moss and rot. Logan would have walked right past it if he hadn't known to look. Raptor sat near the door, head cocked, no sign of alarm. Logan moved in, weapon raised. He pushed the door open slowly. It groaned on rusted hinges. Dust spiraled into the light. Inside, the air was stale. Cobwebs coated the rafters. Old crates lined the walls, many stamped with military markings in faded Cyrillic. A cot lay folded in the corner. A radio set, dusty but intact, rested on a shelf. He exhaled slowly. Jackpot. The first thing he did was secure the perimeter. He checked for mines, sensors, drones. Nothing. Either no one had been here in years, or someone wanted him to think that. Inside, he blocked the door with a wooden bar, then dropped his gear. Raptor paced the room, nose in overdrive. He sniffed a corner and let out a soft bark. Logan joined him. A patch of floorboards was loose. He pried it up, revealing a small storage cache. Sealed water bottles, medical gauze, antibiotic cream, old. MREs and, bless whoever stocked it, a loaded sidearm with 2 spare mags. "Better than Christmas," Logan muttered. He took the time to clean and bandage his ribs, applied antiseptic to Raptor's cut leg, and split an MRE between them. Raptor didn't complain about the beef stew. After Logan sat in front of the old radio, he powered it on. A soft hum crackled through the speaker. He adjusted the dials, cycling through frequencies. Nothing. More static. Then, repeat. "Bravo. Team status unknown. Grid recon compromised. Do not attempt extraction without confirmation." It was brief, then gone. But Logan recognized the voice. Commander Rains. HQ was still listening, still waiting. He keyed the mic. "This is Staff Sergeant Logan Hayes, Operation Echo 7, ambush confirmed. Unit status, KIA, surviving assets, Hayes and K9, designation Raptor, requesting evac or fallback orders, transmitting encrypted ID now." He waited. 5 minutes passed. 10, then a burst of static. "Hayes, copy. Do not return to original. LZ, command suspects intel leak. Avoid all comms outside this channel. Evac options limited. Rendezvous at fallback site Charlie Echo 3. Be advised, pursuers en route." Logan swore. So it was a leak. That ambush wasn't a fluke, it was a setup. Someone had fed their location to the enemy. Raptor whined softly, as if sensing the tension. "Yeah," Logan said. "It just got worse." That night, sleep didn't come easy. Logan kept one hand on his rifle, the other resting near Raptor. The shack was quiet, too quiet. The kind of quiet that makes your skin crawl. Around no 200 hours, Raptor jerked awake, ears sharp, nose flaring. Logan followed instantly, rolling to a crouch. Then he heard it, barely a whisper. Footsteps outside. They didn't approach the door. They circled, whoever it was. They weren't amateurs. Logan moved silently to the window, peeked through the crack in the shutters. Figures in black moved between trees, slow, calculating. One of them paused and crouched, holding up what looked like a heat sensor. Raptor growled softly. Logan looked at him. "We're burned! They'd have to move, now." He grabbed his pack, doused the radio, and motioned for Raptor to follow. There was no back door, but the floor cache opened into an old crawl tunnel, barely wide enough for a man, but it led out through the hillside. He lifted the hatch and dropped in. Raptor followed. They crawled in silence, dirt pressing in on all sides. Logan's breath came shallow. The tunnel opened onto a slope behind the shack, covered in thick brush. He looked back once. The mercenaries were inside now, flashlights, sweeping the shack. One shouted something in a foreign tongue. Then boom! The whole shack exploded in a fireball. The mercs had planted charges. They hadn't come to capture. They came to erase. Logan ducked with Raptor as heat washed over them. The message was clear: no survivors. They ran for miles that night, deeper into the forest, away from smoke and betrayal. Logan's legs burned, his chest ached, but they kept going until the sun broke the horizon. When they finally stopped, Logan collapsed at the base of a massive pine tree. Raptor curled beside him. They didn't speak, didn't need to. The silence said enough. They were being hunted, and they were completely on their own. But they were alive, and that was enough. For now. Logan moved like a shadow through the trees, each step deliberate, controlled. He'd lost count of how many miles they'd crossed since the explosion. Maybe 20, maybe more. His ribs burned with every breath, and the growing numbness in his limbs warned him he was pushing too hard. But there was no choice. Raptor trotted. At his side, ears swiveling, head low, ever alert. They were close now. According to the encrypted map Logan had memorized, Charlie Echo 3, the fallback evac point, was located in a long-abandoned village near the border. Once a small farming community, it had been evacuated years ago during border disputes. Now it was nothing more than ruins and ghosts, and hopefully their salvation. They crested a ridge, and there it was. The village sat in a shallow valley, cradled by thick forest on all sides. Dozens of collapsed buildings, a rusted church steeple, and the remains of a watchtower. No visible movement, no lights, no vehicles. Too quiet. Logan dropped to a knee and surveyed through binoculars. He scanned the windows, the tree line, the roads. Nothing, no signs of life, but no signs of death either. "Looks clear," he whispered. "But we do this by the book." Raptor looked up, tail wagging once in understanding. They moved down the slope slowly, weaving between rocks and roots. Logan stuck to cover, avoiding open areas. As they reached the outskirts of the village, he paused beside a crumbling stone wall and whispered, "Raptor, search." The dog took off, slinking through debris and overgrown paths, nose twitching. Logan followed behind, scanning every doorway, every shadow. It wasn't until they reached the village center that Raptor stopped. He stood at the edge of a well, ears stiff, body still. Logan raised his rifle. "What is it?" Raptor growled. Then Logan heard it, soft metal scraping. A boot on stone. He pivoted just in time to see a man step from behind a collapsed doorway, rifle raised. Logan didn't hesitate. A single shot rang out. The man crumpled. Raptor lunged before the body even hit the ground, intercepting a second attacker trying to flank. The man screamed as jaws clamped down on his forearm. More footsteps. They were surrounded. Logan ducked behind a collapsed wall, firing controlled bursts. One attacker fell. Another dove for cover behind an overturned cart. "Raptor, on me!" The dog retreated to Logan's side, blood staining his muzzle. Then a whistle. High, shrill, and unnatural. Everything stopped. The attackers froze, then retreated, vanishing into the ruins like smoke. Logan blinked. He'd expected a fight to the death. Not this, not a retreat. Then he heard it, a low whoop, whoop, whoop echoing. Over the treetops, a helicopter. He turned toward the ridge. A Black Hawk emerged from the clouds, its silhouette unmistakable. "Raptor! We made it!" The chopper touched down in the village clearing. 2 armed soldiers disembarked, securing the perimeter. One of them approached Logan. "Sergeant Hayes," Logan nodded, lowering his weapon. The man saluted. "Lieutenant Vargas, we're here to extract. Command sent us after receiving your last transmission." "You're the only survivor?" Logan nodded again, throat tight. "Just me and Raptor." Vargas glanced down at the German shepherd, who sat panting beside Logan, watchful. "You two are lucky. That patrol that hit your unit, they've hit 2 more since. Rogue outfit, not officially sanctioned. Looks like they were tipped off by someone on our side." "I figured," Logan muttered. Vargas gestured toward the helicopter. "We'll get you debriefed and cleaned up. Command's going to want everything you saw." As they moved toward the chopper, Logan hesitated. He looked back at the ruins, the place that had almost become their grave. Then down at Raptor. "You ready to go home, buddy?" Raptor thumped his tail once, then hopped aboard the chopper with ease. Logan followed. Epilogue. 1 month later. The base hospital was quiet. Clean. Too clean. Logan sat on a bench outside the veterinary wing, his ribs bound in fresh gauze, arm in a sling. He stared at the floor, lost in the silence. The door beside him opened. Dr. Kim, the unit's K9 vet, stepped out and gave a small smile. "He's good. No fractures. Just some muscle damage. The stitches are healing well. He'll be back on his feet in no time." Logan stood. "Can I see him?" She nodded. "Of course." Inside, Raptor lay on a padded mat, tail thumping slowly when he saw Logan. His ears perked, and he let out a soft, joyful bark. Logan knelt and rubbed the dog's head. "Hey, partner." Raptor licked his face. Dr. Kim watched them quietly for a moment before speaking again. "They're retiring him." Logan looked up. "What?" "After everything he's been through and his age, it's standard. But they asked if you wanted to adopt." He didn't hesitate. "Yes." 2 weeks later, Logan and Raptor stood outside the base gates, a duffel slung over Logan's shoulder, retired officially. They didn't have a house yet, just a temporary apartment in the city, but that would change. They'd find a quiet place, somewhere green, peaceful. Logan scratched Raptor behind the ears. "No more bombs. No more missions." The dog blinked up at him, tongue lolling. "Just ball games and couches now." They started walking. And for the first time in a long time, Logan felt like maybe, just maybe, they'd both survived more than a war. They'd survived themselves.